Please disregard the Conrad shirt, thank you. Even if you're employed and not chronically online, you probably can't escape Taylor Swift. Homegirl is everywhere, from the tabloids to the radio to the NFL, but the reason why there's a whole new wave of people talking about her recently is mainly two things. First, her and Travis Kelce got engaged at the end of August, and second, she dropped her latest album on October 3rd. People have been hating on Taylor Swift since the dawn of time, so this really isn't anything new. Except it is. There are factors to consider with this specific album drop that we're going to get into today that make the current conversation all the more interesting. But I'm sure that all of y'all are foaming at the mouth wondering where I stand on the hater to Swiftie spectrum. So I guess I'll just make it clear from the get-go. I'm pretty neutral. In terms of her music, most of it isn't really my cup of tea. However, there are some songs of hers that I really love and are super important to me. That's usually how I am with all artists though. I have a handful of songs that I like and the rest of them don't appeal to me. There are very few artists that have one album, let alone several albums, that I can listen to with zero skips, and I genuinely feel that every single song is a banger. In terms of Taylor Swift as a person, that's maybe where I start leaning slightly towards the hater side because of things that I discussed in my Taylor Swift video that I just so happened to have posted. It was my very first video of 2024, I believe. And that involves stuff regarding her dating history and business tactics. So if you're curious about that and want to hear about that in more detail, go check that video out. So Taylor's newest album is called The Life of a Showgirl, and it has 12 songs, one of which features Sabrina Carpenter. From what I could see on TikTok, the universal reaction to this album was pretty negative. And honestly, I think that's unusual. I mean, usually either everybody agrees that it's a banger or the Swifties all think it's a banger and the general public is more like, it's all right. But I haven't really seen this level of negativity in terms of an album release with Taylor Swift. So in that sense, I think it's kind of interesting. I've never really seen Swifties turn on her to this extent. But also, since I'm not a Swiftie, I haven't really been around for every single album release. So maybe that's wrong and I'm just like, I don't really know what's up. And even though people seem to be roasting this album, that doesn't mean that it's performing poorly from a financial standpoint by any means. Matter of fact, I think it's doing really well. But from a public reaction standpoint, the people are not enthused. Right when the album dropped, I heard some snippets on TikTok which really didn't impress me. Like, it was looking rough. It was looking bad. People were roasting the heck out of her, but I figured if I was making this video, I'd need to listen to the album in full for myself to see what all the fuss is about. So I slapped on some headphones, got comfortable, and was prepared to be in agony for the next 41 minutes and 45 seconds. I kind of liked it. That's right, you heard it here first. I sat through The Life of a Showgirl and had a decently good time. Does this mean I'm simple-minded? Do I not have sophisticated taste? Maybe. We're gonna do a full analysis and debrief of the album. Even as a non-Swiftie, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all as full of a scoop as I can give ya, get into my full analysis and debrief. But first, so I want to do a little fashion show, an outfit haul if you will, that I got from Halara, who was actually the sponsor of today's video. And even though it's sponsored, I'm going to give y'all my completely honest opinions. Hashtag speaking from the heart. If you're not familiar, Halara's mission is to create clothing that allows you to move freely with style, authenticity, and joy throughout every part of your day. And if you head over to their website, you can use my code 155AMANDA to get 15% off any full-priced item. If you see anything you like, all product links will be listed in the description box below. First, we have this cute cropped tank top with their UltraSculpt leggings. I love the fabric Halara uses because it's so stretchy and soft. And also these leggings have pockets, love. Then we have this long sleeved sports top with their crossover yoga shorts. I also got this top in 2 other colors because I just love the style. There are plenty of color options to choose from. There are also plenty of size options to choose from. Many of the clothes range from extra small to 4X. Lastly, we have this active dress, which I've seen a lot of people wearing around recently, and now I could see why. It's very comfortable, very breathable, and also it's something you can wear literally anywhere, whether you're chilling at home or running errands or even traveling. Halara strives to understand what works and feels best for everybody, so they're using your direct input and feedback so that they can continue to improve and create pieces that empower you. So you all should join Halara's Circle event where you could try their latest designs for free, might I add, and then complete a brief survey about the products you tried. It is a win-win for everybody. I love working with Halara. The clothes are so cute, so comfortable, and I especially love everything from the UltraSculpt collection if you need a recommendation. But whatever your style is, there is literally something for everybody. In the comments, let me know what your favorite pieces are, what more you'd like to see in any collection, and remember, use my code 155AMANDA to get 15% off any full-priced item. Thank you so much, Halara, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. Strap yourselves in, kids. So these are the songs that I liked from the album. These are the songs that are my first choice to play when, you know, if somebody asked me to play songs from the album. The Fate of Ophelia, Opalite, Father Figure, and surprisingly Wood We'll get into that later. The songs that I thought were like, okay, you know, they were fine, but I didn't really form an attachment to them. Elizabeth Taylor, Ruin the Friendship, Honey, and The Life of the Showgirl. All of those songs I just mentioned, positive reviews from me. The songs that I didn't like I actively disliked them, were Eldest Daughter, Actually Romantic, Wishlist, and Cancelled. Now, a critical piece of information that you need to know about me is when I listen to music, I don't listen to the lyrics. I understand that that's a huge part of listening to music, but for whatever reason, like, my brain just completely disregards them every time I listen to a song. There could be a song that I've listened to for many, many years, and I know all the words to, and if you were to ask me what the song means or what it's talking about, I would just hit you with the, I don't know. So when I say I like a song, that generally means that the beat and melody are pleasing to my ears. That is it. So this video is coming to you from a non-Swiftie and also from a person who doesn't really understand music all that much, but here's what I'm guessing. I feel like the main reason why there was such an initial negative response to the album is because there are some lyrics in certain songs that are very outwardly cringy and hard to listen to, both for people who don't listen to Taylor Swift regularly and to people who do. Like, I don't think that the Swifties were expecting this level of cringe from Taylor for this specific album. And also, you know, to non-Swifties, obviously, like, cringe is cringe. Like, it's gonna affect everybody here. And I will say, personally, I did find some songs very hard to listen to at times because, you know, sometimes the cringy lyrics will be in a verse, but sometimes it'll be in the chorus. And that means you're getting that shit multiple times in the same song. Taylor Swift is one of those artists where a lot of the time the lyrics are at the forefront of her music. Like, I think that that's why a lot of people appreciate Taylor Swift, because they appreciate her lyricism. In terms of the way that Taylor Swift presents her lyrics, especially in this album, and I feel like this is a common thing within the pop genre, and listen, I'm saying this like I have any idea what the fuck is going on in terms of any musical insight, but what I've noticed is, like, during the verses, the melody is very uninteresting. It's the same note over and over again, and as a result of that, you're forced to focus on the lyrics. And you know what this immediately reminded me of? Dream's music. I felt the same way listening to his songs, where I didn't enjoy listening to it at times because I felt like I was being forced to listen to mediocre lyrics. But hey, good lyrics are subjective. I mean, obviously Taylor Swift is a talented writer, and she probably definitely leaned into the cringe aspect on purpose, so it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. The songs that I didn't like were the ones that everybody was roasting on TikTok for having cringe lyrics, and so I feel like these specific ones are what really, like, dampened the vibe for a lot of people. But here's the thing, percentage-wise of cringe to not cringe, there were really only 2 songs that were a tough listen from a cringe perspective, so, you know, if you're only getting snippets on TikTok, I would say maybe give the album a listen for yourself, because it's a small percentage of the album. So, you know, it's not an accurate description of what the whole thing is. But we're gonna go through the cringe songs because I find it entertaining. Now, I'm a little nervous to read these lyrics to you because if y'all are familiar with the YouTuber Charlie, aka Moist Critical, he recently made a Taylor Swift video where he was talking about his thoughts on the matter, and he showed and read the lyrics to the chorus of her song Wood. Mind you, in a completely monotone voice. He was literally reading them like freaking slam poetry, and he got copyright claimed for that. Now, I don't know if it was because, you know, the Swifties were like spamming his shit, or because it was like, I don't know how exactly it was detected, or whether it was because he showed the lyrics on screen, or whether he just said the lyrics. I don't know. That's just crazy though. Like, reading lyrics is getting you copyright claimed. That's scary. But even though that happened to him, I'm going to read the lyrics to you anyway, and I'm going to go a step further and read way more lyrics than he did. So, we'll see how that goes. Let's start with Wood. Wood I actually liked. I didn't think I would originally. What can I say? I'm a sucker for an upbeat tune. So the reason why I was surprised that I liked the song Wood is because Wood is about Travis Kelce's dick. Here's the chorus. Forgive me, it sounds cocky. He amatized me and opened my eyes. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. His love was the key that opened my thighs. Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way. So as you can see, the redwood tree is a metaphor, and I'd love to take it from here. It's a double entendre, and yet it's paradoxical. But anyway, yeah, so the redwood tree, the hard redwood tree is a metaphor for Travis Kelce's extremely massive wiener. So people had some fun with that one, as you might imagine. Then we've got the song Cancelled, which people say gives Ginny and Georgia vibes. Now, if you're not chronically online, that is not a compliment. It is very much an insult. And actually, random lore here, Taylor and Ginny and Georgia have beef because there was some sort of line in the show that was a diss to Taylor, and Taylor took that very personally. So here are some lyrics from Cancelled. Did you girl boss too close to the sun? Did they catch you having far too much fun? Come with me. When they see us, they'll run. Something wicked this way comes. Good thing I like my friends cancelled. I like 'em cloaked in Gucci and scandal. Welcome to my underworld, where it gets quite dark. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. But one single drop, you're off the roster. Tone deaf and hot. Let's fucking off her. Did you make a joke only a man could? Were you just too smug for your own good? Everybody's got bodies in the attic, or took somebody's man. We'll take you by the hand, and soon you'll learn the art of never getting caught. Okay, I have some thoughts about this one. First of all, who's we? I haven't taken anyone's man, that's for damn sure. Now, I'm not a resident Swiftie, so I'm not all too sure how literally I'm supposed to be taking her lyrics here, but I am a tad concerned about the whole sentiment that's like, psh, everyone's got bodies in the attic, you just gotta learn how to not get caught, you rookie. Like, yes, I do find that sentiment concerning because, like I mentioned in a prior video, I examined some of Taylor's bodies. There's the dating an 18-year-old at 22 and buying a house next to him of it all right after his mom died, and the greedy business tactics of it all. Charlie, Moist Critical, was in dismay and disarray after learning that Taylor's already created 28 variants of Life of a Showgirl with minor trivial differences between each one in order to capitalize on this release. But listen, Charlie, where have you been, bro? Taylor's been doing this. I even discussed this in my video back at the beginning of 2024. Oh, wait. Or 2025. I've been saying 2024. It's 2025. Whatever. You know what I mean. I don't fucking care what the exact year. Anyways, if there's one thing Taylor knows how to do well, it's capitalize. She is not a billionaire by accident. She also does this thing where she blocks other artists in order to stay on top through, like, the timing of her releases, and she screws over the competition through various ways. Like, maybe she's lifting up one artist because she knows they're not a direct competition, and then, like, maybe because of that indirectly putting down other artists. And the way that Taylor herself seems to justify this, and her fans seem to justify this, is by saying, whoa, Taylor's being disproportionately attacked for doing things that men get away with constantly. This, my friend, is misogyny at its finest. Sure, I'm sure there is some level of misogyny at play here. It runs rampant everywhere. However, that is not a good defense or justification in the slightest. You're actually admitting that Taylor's in the wrong, and you're just shifting the blame. If person A kills someone, and someone's response to that is, whoa, why are you hitting at person A? Person B over here killed 2 people. That's twice as bad, and no one's saying a damn thing about them. Well, sure, yes, person B is in the wrong even more so than person A, but person A is also in the wrong. Like, they both killed people. That's still bad. And I feel like the sentiment is reflected in the line, did you make a joke only a man could? Like, the only reason that she's facing criticism is because she's a woman. And I feel like that's something that Taylor Swift uses a lot, even in cases where she's in the wrong. Like, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. If you don't want to be hated on and compared to a scummy man, then don't do scummy man things. In terms of the underlying meaning of the song, some people have theorized that one of the inspirations for this song is her friend Blake Lively. Now, a year ago, the movie, or maybe 2, I can't remember what year we are in anymore. Anyways, I'm pretty sure a year ago, the movie It Ends With Us came out, and there was this whole big scandal between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who were the leads in the movie. Justin was the director. Shit went down, I'm not going to go into it, but people seem to agree that Blake was in the wrong. And one of the texts that came out between Blake and Justin during the whole lawsuit was that Blake was comparing her friends to dragons while she was texting Justin, and it was implied, or people, I guess, assumed that one of the dragons that Blake was talking about was Taylor. And if I remember correctly, the text more or less was like, if you cross me, my dragons will come and get you. Or, if you need protecting, my dragons will protect you. It was something like that. So the vibes of Cancelled, Taylor's song, are very similar. And the song rubs me the wrong way because she's poking fun at people who villainize her and is embracing the negative light that people cast her in. And that would be all good and well if people really were villainizing her for no reason. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes there are legitimate concerns about the actions of you and your friends that you can't just be like, ugh, that damn misogyny at play again. Like, no. Especially if one of the friends you're talking about is Blake Lively. But then again, sometimes I feel like we don't know enough about any situation to really know who's in the wrong in terms of celebrity drama. Alright, then we get to the song Eldest Daughter. Here are some lyrics. Everybody's so punk on the internet. Everybody's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and memes. Sad as it seems, apathy is hot. Everybody's cutthroat in the comments. Every single hot take is cold as ice. I have been afflicted by a terminal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. But I'm not a bad bitch. And this isn't savage. So, as you can tell from the lyrics that I've just shared with you, Taylor has made the artistic choice to include slang in her songs, which I think for a lot of people elevated the cringe level to the point of no return. It's like when shows or parents or, I don't know, millennials try to incorporate Gen Z slang or Gen Alpha slang to make things more accessible and relatable, but it ends up having the opposite effect and it just makes you look worse. And here's the thing, it's clear, to me at least, that Taylor is being ironic on purpose, which is funny in a way, but at the same time, you've kind of nerfed the song. A lot of people were disappointed in the lyrics to Eldest Daughter specifically because with a title like that, they were hoping for a deep and meaningful Taylor ballad that could be the oldest daughter anthem. They were hoping for something great, and what they received was the bad bitch savage chorus combo. But here's the thing. Maybe it's not the lyrics. Maybe it's not what Taylor says, but it's how she says it. Because I saw a TikTok of some guy rapping the lyrics to, I believe it was, in fact, Eldest Daughter. I could be wrong, though. But when he rapped them, and when he, put it to a different beat, he put some, I don't know what exactly he did. They were the same lyrics, just packaged differently. And it turns out, in that specific way he packaged it, it low-key sounded good. I wasn't like, damn, this is really cringy. I was like, okay, this is actually not that bad. The cringe somehow disappeared. Finally, we get to the last controversial song, which is called Actually Romantic. Now, people weren't really hating on these lyrics for being cringe. I mean, a little bit cringe, but rather they were hating on it because of the backstory to the song. So, Actually Romantic, this song apparently is addressed to Charlie XCX in response to Charlie's song, Sympathy is a Knife, that is from her Brat album. So Charlie and Taylor apparently are connected via people they've dated and exes, there's some crossover and overlap, and this explanation is not doing it justice. I'm sorry, I really don't know what's going on with them. So if you know the lore, please share it in the comments so that we're all on the same page. But anyway, that's the overall gist of it. There's some overlap there. So here are some lyrics to Sympathy is a Knife to give you an understanding of that song. I don't want to share this space. I don't want to force a smile. This one girl taps my insecurities. Don't know if it's real or if I'm spiraling. One voice tells me that they laugh. George says I'm just paranoid, says he just don't see it. He's so naive. I'm embarrassed to have it, but need the sympathy. Cause I couldn't even be her if I tried. I'm opposite. I'm on the other side. I feel all these feelings I can't control. Oh no, don't know why. All this sympathy is just a knife. Don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show. Fingers crossed behind my back. I hope they break up quick. Cause I couldn't even be her if I tried. Alright, so the thing is, from the song, you get the impression that it's about Charlie's own insecurities. That's the main focus at play here. It's not even really the girl that she's talking about, and I don't even really get the feeling that she's blaming this girl that makes her insecure. It seems like she's aware that it's her own internal problem that she needs to figure out. Or maybe it's a problem with the overall society and the music industry. I don't really know, man. But now, we compare and contrast that to the lyrics from Taylor's song that she just released called Actually Romantic, which, again, is apparently Taylor's response to Sympathy is a Knife, because it turns out Taylor is the girl that Charlie was talking about in her song. So, here's what Taylor has to say about this. I heard you call me boring Barbie when the cokes got you brave, high-fived my ex, and then you said you're glad that he ghosted me. Wrote me a song saying it makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended, but it's actually sweet. All the time you've spent on me, it's honestly wild all the effort you've put in. It's actually romantic. I really gotta hand it to you. No man has ever loved me like you do. Hadn't thought of you in a long time, but you keep sending me funny Valentines. And I know you think it comes off vicious, but it's precious, adorable. Like a toy chihuahua barking at me from a tiny purse. That's how much it hurts. How many times has your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her? Yeah, so obviously it feels like we're missing some behind the scenes stuff. Like, these two have a history and we probably don't even know like 5% of the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. But purely from these two songs, Taylor comes off as really mean. Because Charlie's song is all like, damn, this girl makes me really insecure, and logically, I know it's not her fault, but I just can't help but feel this way. And then Taylor's response to that is, you're a pathetic little toy chihuahua, bitch. So, in a nutshell, that's pretty much the lore and the vibes of the life of a showgirl. And another complaint that people seem to be having, at least on TikTok, is that a few of her songs sound very similar to other songs. Now, this happens time and time again. Like, there's only so much music and melody to go around, so you're gonna have some similarities. But, you know, sometimes something is way more similar than others. Like, would sound similar to I Want You Back by the Jackson 5, at least, like, the beginning part with the guitar. And then the song The Life of a Showgirl sounds kind of like Cool by the Jonas Brothers. And the thing is that I don't think people would really have a problem with this if Taylor wasn't being a hypocrite. Apparently, Taylor got all pissy at Olivia Rodrigo for her song Deja Vu because it sounded mildly similar to Cruel Summer, to the point where Olivia needed to give Taylor a writing credit for Deja Vu in order to appease her. So now Taylor has a writing credit for Olivia's song. I also saw this clip on TikTok where Taylor was saying that she was worried that her writing ability would dry up if she starts like being happy in her life, and people were like, well, clearly you were right to have that fear, which I thought was a little too mean to say. Because in that interview, Taylor was being vulnerable and self-reflective about, you know, sabotaging herself and having really unhealthy mindsets, but you know what, whatever. And I think I saw a response video of Taylor in terms of her reaction to the people's reaction to her album, and she's like, I know what I created and I love it, which I think is a good mindset to have. Like, as an artist, you gotta be confident in what you put out, even if the people don't agree. But I think that she thinks the overall response to the Life of a Showgirl album is par for the course and part of the showgirl experience, is what she said. And I think that assessment is probably half true. But anyways, now you know why people were roasting her and saying that the album is bad. My thoughts to the album are pretty similar to Charlie Moist Critical's. Like, to me, it just seemed like a good old regular Taylor Swift album as someone who isn't well versed in her stuff. I like some of the songs, dislike some of the songs. I've never really personally appreciated Taylor Swift as a lyricist because I don't listen to lyrics in general. But even I found the lyrics too cringe at times and impossible to ignore. One thing that I want to touch on before we wrap this up is the Travis Kelce of it all. I know some of y'all have clocked me because you looked back at my Taylor Swift video where I said that Taylor and Travis aren't endgame and aren't going to last, and now I look like a clown and a damn fool because fast forward to now and they're happily engaged. The marriage is imminent. Here's the thing. I still stand by what I said. Listen, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, maybe cover your ears for this part. If you're a Travis and Taylor shipper, maybe close your ears. Because I know the following opinions that I'm going to say are going to sound very unhinged and very parasocial of me, but I don't give a frick. I'm going to say them anyway. Any highly publicized relationship you throw at me, I'm gonna think it's fake. Why wouldn't I? Taylor seems to have oscillated from the extremes, like back to back, like with the whole no public appearances with Joe to now publicizing lots of her current relationship. And then Travis is always at her concerts. She's always at his football games. She's on the Kelce podcast thing. She's talking about Travis on Jimmy Fallon. Their engagement was this whole big thing. And I feel like the moments where they're most in the limelight align with either the football season or with an album release. And it just seems like a little bit calculated. Now, I know all of this, it sounds like I'm being a hater, but I do honestly think that they pair well together. I don't even honestly know why I have such strong feelings about this, but I don't get the impression that they love each other. And I know that sounds crazy of me to say, but that's just how I feel, Pookies. Also, side note, on Jimmy Fallon, I believe, she was like, you know, Travis, my fiance, he risks his life every time he gets on that field. I am so worried and concerned about what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. Which isn't false. Like, that's not an incorrect thing to say that he's risking his life. But you're also making it sound like he's doing this noble thing. He's not a firefighter or something. He's not saving lives. He's literally playing football. Like, it's a highly dangerous sport for absolutely no reason at all. Anyways, okay, parasocial part over. Sorry if that was a hard watch. Anyways, people also seem to be on the Taylor Swift hate train because they're getting the impression that she's leaning more into like the tradwife conservative capitalist area of society, which I don't know, maybe. I literally have no idea. I'm just relaying to you what the people are saying. I mean, she built her own empire, which doesn't scream tradwife to me, but in terms of leaning more conservative, which I guess is like the more underlying concern among a lot of fans, I also don't know about that. Hardcore Taylor fans, let me know what your thoughts are on that, because I feel like I don't know enough about her and her history to comment on that. I will say though that I do remember watching a documentary of hers a while ago. I think it was like the Americana one, Miss Americana one or something, if that was what it was called. And it documented how she started to be like way more outspoken about politics. And it seems like she kind of stopped doing that. I'm not really sure what the motivation is, or maybe she hasn't and I just haven't been seeing stuff about it, but I don't know. So if some fans aren't happy about that, about the, you know, not speaking up for certain current events, and here's the thing, the capitalist queen part is pretty undeniable though, but to each their own, I guess. If Taylor's gonna release 28 variants, that doesn't mean y'all have to buy every single one. Like, she's not forcing you to do it. If she does it, I mean, and the people are buying it, who's really at fault here for that? Anyways, those are my recent Taylor Swift thoughts. But people are always going to be mad at her for something or other. And sometimes I think that it's unfair, but sometimes I think that it's justified. And, you know, that's just the way it goes. Anyways, if you're a diehard Taylor Swift fan and have even further insights that you're able to give, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear a Swifties like analysis on the musicality of the album, on Taylor's evolution, on her relationship with Travis. I love to hear from y'all. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here as always. And I hope you're having a great start to the spooky season. Anyways, talk to y'all later. Love ya. Bye.